Hello. Happy New Year, everybody. Oh, Honey, Kaylin. Oh, Stephen, thank you. It's good to be back. Thank you, Stephen. Yes, I thought it's a new year. We should definitely do a fold. I would guess I'll probably be doing one kind of monthly-ish. That's kind of how it's ended up being. I'm trying to do more things in person as well. So there is only so much, but I do want to keep it going a bit as well. And it's so lovely, everyone gathering. Thank you for spotting it. I've given you very little notice, so I think gold stars for you all. I hope you were able to have a good sort of festive break and a bit of a rest from things, and wishing you a happy, healthy new year to come. So yes, oh, Fernando, hello, welcome as well. Eric, Claire, oh, lovely. Thank you for gathering. I'm always really touched that people come along. It's amazing, isn't it? So yeah, thinking what to do. It was that festive time, and then I found myself sort of thinking of it's a way off, but just beginning to look forward to the little signs of spring that will come. Not yet. Well, actually, they are happening a bit now, but yeah, and just that nice things will emerge again. So I found myself folding something which I think is all traditional. I'll be showing you. Hope you've all been keeping well. So just to show you what I was thinking of doing, it's more of a project, to be honest, because there's quite a few elements to this, but I found myself wanting to do, and I haven't made one before, an origami vase. Adrienne, lovely to have you here. So I thought making a little vase and then a stem and a leaf, and then maybe adding a flower as well, which is very much like the persimmon that we did years ago. So I would think it's maybe traditional, but please do correct me if not. I think the vase is traditional too. So it's a kind of a collection. So that's it. Oh yes, Eric, exactly. Yeah, the beautiful magazine honouring Penny. Really, really beautiful. What an amazing lady. Oh goodness. Oh, Stephen, I didn't realise. I'm so sorry. Really glad that you've got through that. You're managing, and really hope that it's that you keep looking after yourself. It's bound to be a bit of a shock. Anything like that. It's so fundamental, isn't it? Your heart. All my fingers crossed for you. I hope you've been getting good care, and I hope you've got ways to help prevent anything else and to treat what has been happening. I thought this could be a nice one for symbolising what will come later in the year. And we'll start with making flowers, and then start making those little leaf and a stem, and then make a flower on top. So, thank you. So if you grab yourself some paper, so we're going to make a vase first, then the stem, and then the flower. So actually for the vase, it's going to be just normal kind of origami size paper, so a square from an A5 piece of paper. Same for the stem and the leaf, and then the flower is like a quarter of an origami piece of paper, even though it looks really big actually. But that's what I'll be showing you. Yeah. I agree, Eric. Sad to hear that you've had that problems, and definitely sending you well wishes and continued healing. I'm really glad, Stephen, that you're okay. Yeah, really am. So first of all, I'm going to make a square. So just the classic origami size piece of paper. So I'm going to take a A4 piece of paper and just fold it in half. Make A5. I don't know. There are many vases. I knew it was one of those things to make, but it's not something I've made before actually. So I just felt like I'll make a vase, and then something can grow out of it. Go, and then the corner, just making a square. Okay. And then I'm just bringing that back. Do say if ever you wanted me to explain. I feel like pretty much all of you here have done this one before, so please do say though if you need me need to repeat anything. So I'm purely making a square. So I made an A5 piece of paper, and then I took one corner over to make that right angle triangle. And then you could either cut off the strip or you can tear it off, which is what I've done. Right, so if you've got a piece of paper, if you've got origami paper, choose some colours that you think would make a nice vase. I will just very quickly add some colour just so that you have origami paper. You can see what I mean. Which side is which then. Quite enjoy a quick scribble. Well, it's so lovely to have you here, Stephen, after what must have happened. And yeah, I hope it is special to have you here. Right, so I've put colour on one side, white on the other. Hey, Wendy, lovely to have you here as well. So are you ready to get folding? Yeah. Excellent. Yeah, it was a lovely magazine. Really lovely magazine. Oh, Eric, lovely. Yep, just watch and enjoy. And the good thing is this is all recorded, so you can go back to it. I'll probably make a video of this as well, but I've been too busy with other things like tax returns and just catching up with things. So I'm being kind to myself at the moment. Right, I'm presuming that you're ready to fold. So I'm going to go on the white side. I've already done one diagonal side. I'm going to do, I've done my fold there, and then opened it up, and I'm going to do the other diagonal. So, and then open up, and then turn it over, just like that little tent, and that should be where the colour is. And then fold it in half to make a rectangle. I'll show you in a moment the book that I got this one from. So I've done a horizontal, and then do your next horizontal or vertical. So I did the diagonals on one side, turned it over, and did the horizontal and vertical on the other side. So it should hopefully be curling up a bit. And I just want you to put your fingers underneath the middle, push up, and it pops into a triangle position. So then you should be able to bring in the sides and collapse it down like that. So I'm just going to show you the diagram in the book, actually, where this is from. I picked it up in a charity shop a few years ago. It looks ancient. I think it's from the 1980s. Let me show you. Origami in colour. It looks like from the 50s, but I think it's from the 80s. Anyway, in here it's how to make a vase. So it feels quite traditional, but please do correct me if not. The book is from, let me see, it's from this lady. Don't know if you can see. So you can see her name there. Don't know if anybody knows about her. Yeah, there we go. So let's give this vase a go. I still feel like I'm getting to grips with this one. So in sort of principle, it's reasonable, but it still takes a bit of understanding in order to get it right. So has everyone got their paper like this? So it's kind of triangle shape, gathered at the bottom, open at the top, have it this way round. Are you ready to get started? I'll wait until at least one of you says you're started. Yeah, me too, Adrian. It's quite rare, actually, I see in a second-hand origami book. But actually, it's my dad who spotted it and went, oh, you might like this. So that makes it even more special when someone else has spotted it for you. Great. Thank you, Stephen. Lovely. So we're going to do, first of all, a fold. I might actually draw on it so you can see it more clearly because it's... Let me show you. So I'm going to fold about, it's not particularly straight, is it? But this line there, that line there. So it's not to the middle of it, it's not to the centre, it's got to be open, but at a bit of an angle. So something like that. Something like that, I think would be reasonable. Like that. I still feel like I'm still trying to get that line. It may not be perfect, but we'll see how this works out. Yeah. And then, are you happy with that? So I sort of folded it about that sort of an angle. Great. So take this bottom edge and bring it up along that outside line that you've made. It's actually the sort of almost outside of your vase, really. Like that. Yep. And then that bit sticking up, I just want you to sort of tuck it behind the layers. I'm still figuring out which layers it should be tucked behind, but for now, just fold it back and tuck it in, just for now. We can always reposition it. Happy with that? So you're going to do the same on the other side, I guess, so it looks sort of symmetrical, really. So I guess a similar kind of height for the bottom and a similar kind of width in the middle. See how you go. Something like that-ish. So they look similar. And again, that bottom edge, bring it up along the outside edge. Again, so it's lining up there. And then again, the bit that sticks up, tucking it behind the layers. I'm still not quite sure which layer, so just tuck it behind for now. We can always readjust it. Like that. Actually, it's probably quite a wide vase. Anyway, it's okay. It'll be okay. Great. So turn to the back. And it's really the same thing. So it's easy for the back because all you've got to do is line it up with the side that you've already got. So lining it up. And then that bottom edge, lifting it up. And again, tucking it inside. Probably just the top sort of layer. What you'll end up doing is it will end up looking almost like a little paper bag inside, so that you'll be able to look into it properly. And then the same with the other side. Again, sort of lining it up with the back. That bottom edge, lifting it up. And again, tucking it behind the top layer. So you may find that you've sort of tucked it over too many layers, in which case you can sort of open it and reposition it. Can you see? So you sort of look inside and it feels almost like a paper bag that you'll be able to open it, because we will be wanting to open it to make it into a vase. Possibly I could have done a bit narrower, a bit longer. As I said, I still feel I'm learning on this one. But it'll work. Yeah, maybe experiment more again too. Final fold is to go from this corner to this corner. Just lift it up to give a base. Sort of a bit like a star box in a way, sort of. Does anyone know this? Is this a traditional fold? Feels like it to me, but I don't know. There we go. And then undoing it. And then are you ready to open up the little vase? So when you are, great. When you are, you can pop your fingers in there. To start, as I said, you might need to reposition those little flaps. And you're going to have to almost push up the bottom to get it to go into a little square at the bottom. So I'm sort of bringing out the bottom of it to make it into a little flat base. Oh, it's quite a wide little vase, this one. Honestly, every time I seem to do a different shape. And also sort of square up the base a bit as well. I mean, you could, dare I say it, if they are sticking up a bit too much, these bits, you could glue them down. Forget you heard it. But depends on the paper sometimes, or the angle as to what they're like. Actually, once we put in the stem and the leaf, it often holds it all into place as well. So maybe we're saved. So I'm just sort of squaring up the base a bit, and that's kind of it. Mine's upside down. Oh, yes, that's a good idea with the light in it. Yes, you could. Obviously, a nice little battery one. But it's almost like a pyramid, actually, mine. How different it is from before. Goodness, they vary, these vases. So, excellent. Ah, have you, Melvin? Oh, lovely. What do you think? Do you think this vase is traditional? Or not really? I'm curious. So we've made a vase. Has that worked for everybody? I do hope so. Funny how different it is from last time. Yeah, excellent. Yeah, probably narrower still. But you can experiment again as well. I think hopefully you've got the idea. So we're going to make the leaf and the stem. So again, I'm just going to make a square first of all. Again, out of A5, or find yourself origami paper. And then remove that. You can either cut it off or tear it off. That's what I'm going to do, tear it off. Bring it back. Line it up. Good strong fold. Undo it. And then a little tear it off. Yeah, it's probably the way Melvin I showed it. I probably should have shown it going down further. As I said, I still feel like I'm trying to understand it. It takes a while, doesn't it? Anyway, it's got a good sturdy base. Won't fall over easily, which is an advantage, I suppose. So maybe green on one side. I might colour mine in really quickly. Just some green. I've got it. So I'm just gonna go to one side the quick green colour of the stem. I mean, actually, I would, if you have origami paper, definitely use that. I'm just doing this so that you can see which side is which, because actually when I use pattern paper, it's a bit hard for you to see. And also it's good to make it accessible as to, yeah, but you don't need special paper. If you have it, you might as well use it. Right, I think that will do. So it's one that we've done before. It's basically like the tulip. That's just what I thought would make a nice stem and leaf, and then make the flower. Okay, so I'm assuming you're all ready to get folding for the leaf and the stem. So you've got, maybe if it is origami paper, white on one side and green on the other. So just fold it in half, make that diagonal line, and then open it up, and that outside line, bring it along that middle diagonal line that you've already got. Like so. And then the same for the other side, so it ends up looking like a kite. Yeah, I think I showed you too wide the vase. It's my fault. I think I clearly need to practice it a lot more for the vase. It's amazing how even that can take quite a bit of learning until it feels like you know what you're doing. That's why I haven't made a video yet. and I've been distracted by other things. So it's looking like this. Could be a kite or an ice cream cone. Are you happy? Have you got it to this point? Yeah. So we're going to now go to the top edge and fold that along the middle line. Great, thank you. So that shorter edge along the middle line. Don't know if you've seen bulbs coming up already. They have been for a while, to be honest. Still a welcome sight. So we followed from that end, then we went to this end. Now we're going back to the long end, the final fold. So doing the same thing, bringing the outside to the middle line. That's it. There we go. And then the same on the other side. There we go. So it should look like this. Is it looking like that for yourself? Hope so. So I'm going to presume you're ready. I'm going to take this bottom point up to the top and fold it in half. There we go. And then folding it inwards. So that sort of wider one is almost covering the inside, because the inside one is going to become the stem and the outside one is the leaf. So it should be looking a bit like this. Lovely. Yes. Oh, thank you. So this stem here, and then if you kind of relax the bottom, then you can gently uncurl the leaf a bit, like so. And just think of this like maybe those bulbs that are beginning to come out now. This is your leaf and stem. So hopefully this may pop into your vase. It's almost like a little plant pot. Maybe more of a plant pot than a vase. That's it. Lovely. Thank you for those likes, Eric. Is it like that for you? And then we're going to make our final flower, which almost feels like a bit of an imaginary perfect flower. Yeah. It's quite like the persimmon, actually. It's similar kind of principles that we've made a little while back, which is a traditional one. So I don't know if anyone knows about it. Good. Glad it works. So I'm going to make a final square the same size for now. And then actually we're just going to use 1/4 of the square. Folding it in half. And then turning it over, a little nick. Or look through your papers, if you have origami papers, as to what you're going to make your flower from. So bringing the corner over to make a nice little right angled triangle. And again, you could either cut that off or tear it off. I'm going to tear it off, turn it over, and bring it back. Robin Hood's hat, good strong fold. Then you should be able to undo it a bit, add a little nick, and tear it off. Great. Then open it up. There we go. So we're actually only going to use 1/4 of this. So I'm going to fold it in half. It looks like such a big flower as well, but it is just 1/4 of the origami paper. Fold it in half, a bit of a nick, and on the solid surface, you should be able to tear it off. And then folding in half again, just to make a little square. I'm doing a little nick. And then add some colour, or hopefully if you've got origami paper, then you've already got a bit of colour. I'm going to add... Oh, actually I might add some purple. Why not? Maybe like a crocus. It's really not a crocus sort of flower, but that's not the point. I think it's more of an imaginary flower, this one. It's quite summery somehow. I just thought we'd do something different from the tulip. And it also will fit into the stem too. So there you go. So have you got a little quarter of an A4? If you have origami paper, maybe it's coloured on one side, white on the other. Fine if it's coloured on both sides. Right, are you ready to begin folding the flower now? Great, thank you, thank you. Right, so if you go to the white side, and we're just going to fold the diagonals. Great, thank you. So fold it in half, and the colour appears when you're folding it. And then open it up. And then do the other diagonal as well. So you've done both diagonals on one side, like so. Next, turn it over, and again it looks like that little tent. And we're going to do the again horizontal and then the vertical fold. So horizontal fold, and then open it up, and the other horizontal or vertical fold. Great. So as it is now, you should be able to just push all the bits together. It's like a bit like a fortune teller. And we should now be on the white side if you had that white side. So something like that. Oh, that's a good idea, Eric. Lovely idea. Yeah, try and hopefully do something maybe in time for Valentine's Day as well next month. We'll see. Yeah. Here we go. So next we're going to take this bottom corner and lift it up to about the middle point. So something like that. There we go. And a good strong fold at the bottom there. Great. So looking like that. All ready for the next step. See what happens next. So what I want you to do now is undo it, and actually undo it all. And you can hopefully see more in the light that there is a little outline of a square there. And what I want you to do is almost the square that you've got. I just want you to sort of fold up on each of the sides that you've made. So on this coloured side, I'm sort of lifting and folding the paper along the square that I've already got. I'm going to do that on each of the sides. Like that. So it should be looking something like that. So it's sort of folding forward like that, and at the back it would look like that. So it's kind of lifting up. Are you happy? Is it looking like that for you? So I guess this is a sink, isn't it? That we're going to do as a type of fold. Yep. So what I want you to do next is we're going to sort of fold it so that this stays up in the middle. I always find it's a bit difficult to explain, but I think I'm going to take every side and push them together. How am I going to do it? Oh. Realizing how tricky this all is. How do you do it, and how do you explain how to do it? What we're going to try to do is fold it so it ends up Oh, it's looking like that. A sink, yes, a sink. That's it. So keep playing until it ends up sunk in the middle. It was for me at one point a bit unbalanced, and then I pushed in the other side. Fiddle with it, basically. Be playful. You will get there eventually. And then what you're looking to do is collapse it down like that. So you can see underneath it goes in. And if you were to look at the top, or from the bottom. Shall I try and do it again? I'll try and do it again. So I sort of pushed in all the sides together, so the white sides. And if it's looking a bit like this, then I found, oh, how did I do it? Then I brought my fingers around the other way and then tilted back until they were all the same height. Yeah. Fiddle with it, you'll get there. So it should end up like this on each of the sides with that bit that's sunk into the middle. Are you happy? Have you managed to get to that point? Does anybody need it explaining a bit more? We're not far off, actually. Does it look like that for you, Dawn? Actually making a triangle base inside the square base. Yes. Oh, well done. It's a hard one to explain. I don't know if any of you have got a better way of explaining it. As ever, I think the beauty of origami is that it's your own discovery as you do it. It may have been discovered by others, but you're still having to sort of discover it in order for it to work yourself. No. Oh, have you done upside down so you can see the bit going inwards equally? Oh, fair enough. Oh, well done. I think we all find our own way of doing it. Okay, so our next step is to take that bottom edge and lifting it up along that vertical middle line. So like that. So I took that bottom edge and then I lifted it up along that vertical line. You've done it for one side, then do it for the other, lifting that up along that vertical line. And it should then look like this sort of, this kind of shape inside, like that. And then we're going to do the same thing on the back. There we go. Again, that bottom edge lifting up. Do you know this flower? Has anybody done this flower before? As I said, it feels a lot like the persimmon, or certainly the same principles. I'm doing that. But please do illuminate me if not. Right, again, it's going to be another tricky one to sort of explain, but we're going to hopefully open it and it expands that sticking up bit to flatten, which is sort of what you do with the crane when you open it, and it can flatten. So we're now going to try and open it. That's it. Oh. So I'm opening up the sides, and I guess I'm at the back, I'm not letting any of these flaps go up. So I'm sort of opening it and it will expand that little square in the middle, which is going to be the bottom. Oh, have you? Excellent. I think we did personal a long time ago altogether. Yeah. Oh, it's a traditional style. Yes, that's true. It's almost a whole mixture of things, isn't it? Oh, almost looks like a bow tie as well, doesn't it? Could be many things. Did it open for you at the front? So it's got a little texture there, but at the moment the flower looks very square, so we're going to work on making it less square. It's almost a bit like the twisty flower as well. It's got some of those principles in. But again, which came first, I don't know. Turn to the back. At the moment, I've got some on one side, these little bits. Excellent. It would be good to get them sort of moved to a position where it's almost a kind of like a wheel, that they're all facing the same direction. So these little flaps I'm just moving, so it will end up looking a bit more like a kind of a windmill. So they may be at all sorts of different angles, but I've moved them so that they look as though it's kind of rotating round. Yeah. So actually I did learn this because I was wanting to do a very flat flower for cards, to thank you cards after Christmas to people. So yeah, that's where I learned this. And I've made the lovely lovely twisty sort of flat 8-petaled flower, which is really nice, that I've done previously for cards. But yeah. Anyway, so hopefully it's looking like this. Now we just want to add the little dip between the petals. So again, it's a little bit, be patient with yourself, but sort of bringing each of these down. And you should be able to bring down that little area. Honestly, I don't know how to explain. This is why I've been hesitant to do a video for all of this, because it takes quite a lot of explaining, and I'm not sure how good I am explaining it yet. But for each of these sides, I'm going to just bring down, try bringing down that little area that you've got, bringing it down and sort of keeping it symmetrical. You can always turn it round. Actually, this is quite good because I'm looking at it from the front to see whether it looks reasonable. Then again, it's quite hard to see what I'm doing. But what you're trying to do, it is very fiddly, is trying to bring it down. It will be possible. Be really patient. I'm also trying to see what would look sort of symmetrical as well, so you can see from the front that it's giving that. I feel like I'm learning this as well. There we go. And then another side. Oh, it's sort of, maybe it's a sort of twisting it down, sort of. How are you finding this? I find it tricky. I'm finding this stage is the trickiest. Bringing it down, but just being mindful that you want to keep it sort of a fairly equal gap. Yeah, it is fiddly. I suppose it is also a quarter of an origami paper, but it's quite a big flower, really. I've just got one more side to do again. Sort of bringing it down. There we go. It's looking quite interesting at the back. And from the front, you've sort of got a flower emerging like that. How's it going, or how's it gone? Have you managed it? There's just really one more sort of step and then assembling it together. Yeah, that's right, Stephen. It's practice, isn't it? It's a hard one to explain, though. Any suggestions for improvements? Very, very welcome. Yeah, it's a bit daunting explaining this many different things together, but yeah. So for each of these pointed petals, you can also just roll it back a little bit. It's a little bit more curved. So just rolling them back a little bit. There we go. That's it. You managed that. So it's just looking a little bit more flowery. And then on the back, it's actually, there's a little sort of gripping hole that you could just about put in the centre. You can sort of bring it, if you bring out a bit, it opens the hole a bit more. And you should then be able to put that in the stem. And it should, as you sort of pull it out a little bit and then let go, it should then grip onto it. It's just different things I put together, really, to do this. But it seemed to work for me, so hopefully it might just about work for you too. There we go. Yes, it is a sort of zigzag fold. That's a good way of putting it, Adrian. Anyway, oh, you're so welcome. I hope it's given you a little lift, and yeah, wishing you continued healing as well, Stephen. I'm really glad you're okay. Yes. So, has it worked? Yeah. I just thought it'd be something a bit uplifting. It's different things put together, but it felt like something that would, oh, you're welcome, that could lift the spirits. I did it to lift my own spirits. It's lovely to share. You're very welcome. So I would guess that I'll be back in February, hopefully in time for Valentine's Day with something else as well. It's always a good sort of festival to celebrate, but just to think of love more generally for yourself, for friends, for family, as well as a partner if you have one, but not just romantic love, I think. You're very welcome. Yeah, Galen, I think it was me demonstrating a bit too wide. Although actually I'm kind of liking this wide one, but look how different it is from last time. So yes, you can go narrower and a bit longer, but hopefully a good principle. Happy playing with that. Wishing you all, yeah, happy and healthy new year. Look after yourselves, everyone. Thanks for coming along. Bye. Bye. Thank you.